piled high with garbage.
It's not garbage. It's delicious. Oh man,
it can be delicious garbage, but
meat, beans, cheese, jalapenos.
I don't like jalapenos that much. Like I like jalapeno seasoning, but I don't like to just eat jalapenos. It's too
like some pickled jalapeno. Bam.
No, I don't like pickled things.
What?
No, thank you.
Don't no pickles at all?
I like vinegar, but no pickles at all.
Really?
Come to Japan.
You like vinegar, but no pickles?
Yep.
Kimchi.
Nope.
Oh man.
I mean, if I'm served kimchi, I will eat it to not be rude. Like I'm not gonna I'm not a monster. I had a Korean friend in college who would make dinner, and when I went to his house to have dinner, I'm not gonna say like, no, I don't want your kimchi. But I just don't really like pickled vegetables.
So tragic.
I just can't get over the liking vinegar, but like you can't do pickles. Like I feel like those are very similar. Like if you like one, you'll like the other.
Look at it this way. I like iced tea a lot, but I wouldn't want to soak something in it and then eat it. People just don't do that. So I'm not suggesting that anyone does that. But like to me, it's the same kind of principle.
People also use vinegar to clean their sinks. So,
Yeah.
And that's why you eat pickles. It's like cleaning your own personal sink. Just with like
I don't use pickles for that.
You can't eat a sponge. I mean, I guess you could, but like you eat a pickle, and then it just clears the out.
I also I would eat like a fake meat substitute on nachos, but I don't eat beef, so like I wouldn't put that on nachos.
Mm-hmm.
What else goes on nachos?
I can do some black olives on nachos.
Yeah, black olives.
It's not my favorite. If it were me making them, I wouldn't put them on. But like Alyssa likes them, so I'll eat and I'll eat them.
Oh man, some corn, some like roasted corn.
Sure. Yeah. Roasted corn's good on. Yeah.
Of course, like a shit tons of cheese.
I'll eat roasted corn on just about anything.
I like some. I like a sort of some shredded cheese, but then also some like queso over it too.
You need to have like. You think, oh, I'm putting too much cheese on it. No, you need to put more than that.
But if I go, I want to stop the shredded cheese at a certain point and switch to queso though. I don't want to put too much cheese and then too much queso on it.
Okay. How about sour cream?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
But again, the queso kind of eliminates the need for sour cream.
True.
In my opinion, I would rather have queso than sour cream, and I don't hate.
Yeah, you put the sour cream in the queso, and then boom, it's right there.
Yeah, it's fine.
If you're making queso, it might have sour cream in it.
Exactly, that's kind of my point.
Yeah, exactly. So
what I'd like is to have some chips that aren't covered in queso, so that I could dip those in sour cream to have a separate flavor experience happening.
By the way, are there other videos I should grab? I have Fire Emblem, my one piece of crap, some F1.
We're just gonna talk about Fire Emblem today.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you guys can get out of here.
Yeah, I'm somewhat constrained.
I technically played Ground Zeroes this week, but I'm not gonna talk about it.
Okay.
Because it's an old game that nobody cares about.
I will be interested to hear your thoughts on Metal Gear 5, though.
Oh yeah, I liked Ground Zeroes a lot.
Yeah. By the way, we've been live for minutes.
Oh, so. Yeah. I saw that thing go up. Okay.
I didn't do tons of side stuff. I just played through the base thing.
Mm-hmm. Is it episode 79? I thought it was episode 80.
It is 80.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, did it? It didn't update with the restream. My bad.
Yeah. There we go. Okay.
Oh, I did ask it to. All right, we'll do that again.
Oh.
I do enjoy that we have a standard password for shared accounts that has remained.
I don't think you're supposed to say that while we're live.
We're live anymore.
Oh.
What? Yeah, we're live.
No, we are still. No.
I don't really care. I don't think anyone's going to guess it.
I'm glad I didn't just say what it is. I'll just say my social instead. 111.
So they had so there's in the United States, I think it's just in the US. I don't really know exactly, but one of our big credit reporting agencies, Equifax, had a huge data breach a couple of years ago. So they're paying out settlements to people, and like I didn't realize they're paying out settlements like if you've ever the baseline from what I was seeing is like if they have any of your data and any of it was breached, you get $125. So I hadn't gone to fill out a claim yet. And it was funny because like the way they check to see if you're eligible for a claim is you have to give them the last 6 digits of your social security.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know that I want to do that given that you messed this up. And this is kind of the reason.
Yeah. I definitely did that too. Yeah. And I had the thing and I didn't have a breach, which is probably better, but at the same time I'm like, man, $125 would be kind of nice.
I didn't see anything. Like I keep an eye on my credit reports. I had I'm getting $125, but I mean, I haven't seen anything like there's been no damage or anything.
Right.
So. Let's see. I guess we'll just get going. If Sam's not here, He's
he can bomb in if he wants to. We should get moving.
Yep. 1 second.
Yeah, I'm going caving, y'all.
That's cool. I'm jealous. We're doing a cool thing too, but we're going to a battleship.
Hell yeah.
And we're taking an hour ferry ride to get there, which should be fun, hopefully.
Bringing your Switch along?
I sincerely thought about it. I'm actually just concerned. I like, Alyssa and my dad and my stepmom will all be there. So I think there'll be enough to we'll be able to have enough conversation to stay occupied, but also I don't want my Switch to get dropped in the water or crunched in a bag the rest of the day. So that's why I'm not bringing it. But I did seriously consider it, especially because my dad is picking us up to drive us down there. So it was like a 20-minute ride down to the ferry where I could be also doing things.
Oh, well.
One second.
I do actually have some minor criticism of the game, though, that I'm excited to discuss.
Okay. Whatever. We'll get into it. No spoilers. Okay. Everybody ready?
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell Sam we're starting. All right. Hello and welcome to Gaming Fix episode 80 on this July 27th, 2019. Yesterday, I guess, was the day. This is the week. Lots of games coming out, but we only care about one game. Alex, give me one word to describe the game that we're going to talk about today.
Disappointing, because Wolfenstein Youngblood is not as good as it could have been.
Okay,
that is not the game we were going to talk about today. Allison, one word to describe the game we are going to talk about today.
Delightful.
Pat, one word to describe the F1 thing you're watching.
Surprising.
Okay, that's all you get to say about it today, so we can get out of here in a timely manner. Fire Emblem Three Houses came out on the 26th. Also, what else came out? Wolfenstein and Kill la Kill If. I have a review for Kill la Kill up. You can check my Twitter, which I'll plug at the end if you want to find out my thoughts on that. But yeah, we're all playing Fire Emblem. For me, it's consumed my life for the last day and a half. I just hit the 15-hour mark before I logged on here. Like 15 hours and 5 minutes. And it's real good, y'all.
It is real good.
I think this is one of the first games in a long time that literally every one of us is playing.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Is there any other game that we all bought like right away?
Maybe Smash.
I mean, most people bought Mario Maker.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Yeah.
But regardless, Fire Emblem is a bit more enigmatic than a Mario game, I would say.
I suppose, yeah.
Like, I think the key with Fire Emblem is it hits so many like points, like so many different kinds of points for like things we like. Like I theoretically enjoy strategy games. I always like try to play them, and then I'm like, okay, I fall off because I get bored or whatever. But I have been playing this nonstop.
Yeah, and for those listening who don't know what a Fire Emblem traditionally is, I don't know, what would you call it? Kind of an XCOM-y, but also kind of
it's
rock, paper, scissors-y kind of strategy game.
They took the rock, paper, scissors out of this one, though.
But traditionally.
I don't think they took it out. They just they don't surface it as much.
Yeah. Maybe.
But
what is it called?
Advanced
Wars. It's more like Advanced Wars than it is like an XCOM, but
but it's also
it's the top-down tactical grid combat.
But also with a very heavy dose of the anime and very heavy dose of character.
Yeah. So it's in the past it was very visual novel-y, right? Like you'd go between and there's stories that unfold, usually about like some dragons and shit, some powerful swords, I guess. I've only played Fate's Birthright, I think, the one with like the Asian samurai guy, that style, and then this one. And I did not finish Birthright, but I think I am definitely going to finish this one, at least for one playthrough. So yeah, Fire Emblem Three Houses is a somewhat of a departure, kind of a reinvention of Fire Emblem.
Yeah,
I think is very smart because, like I was saying, it kind of hits on things that appeal to a lot of us in like different ways. So like Pat, you're very into like the tactical combat strategy game type things generally, and then like I'm into like Persona and Danganronpa type stuff on the way, and there's a combination of that in between all of us, and so this game kind of blends all that in a really creative, fun way. That I didn't pay much attention to the marketing. Like I heard people talk about it, and so I kind of knew that it was like, and they say like, oh, you're at a school and you're teaching these kids, which is kind of the setup. You're at basically it's Hogwarts, but for child soldiers, just like
it's
Fantasy
church, though. It's not really like Hogwarts, other than it's a school
and there's houses.
We were joking, and my partner and I were joking last night.
I don't see how it's not like Hogwarts.
There's owls. There's owls.
Yeah, this is exactly like Hogwarts.
She was saying it's like Harry Potter, but she was kind of joking because like in that regard, the University of Washington is like Harry Potter.
It's got problematic content.
It's school. Every school has classes. They're not called houses. They're called
they do magic.
I mean, I guess they call them houses in the title, but they refer to them as classes in the game, pretty much.
They also refer to them as houses too, but
it's anime Harry Potter.
Houses all over. It's not really like Harry Potter.
But also,
if everyone could please go read any other book and then get back to me.
Well, I think also the thing about houses,
magical beasts.
The thing about houses in Three Houses versus Harry Potter is that the houses are all tied to this larger political conflict, where each house is largely like people from their specific region.
So it's what Fodland. I have played. Fodland is broken up into 3 areas: Fart Gas, there are 3 like main areas of this continent. I don't know what they're called. I'm not absorbing like any of the proper names.
Clearly.
But I'm just having a good time with like the relationships and stuff. There are 3 nations, and then all the kids from the nations go to the school, which is run by the church.
Well,
like the Central Church.
Not all the kids. The nobles go to the school.
Yeah, there's commoners.
Well, there's some commoners.
There's some commoners, but it's by and large nobles, and the commoners only get to go because nobles brought them.
Yeah,
and they're also separated based on like they each have the class of commoner and noble.
If anything, that's my favorite part of the story so far is the fact that they talk about class so much, and like the tension between them saying like, well, class doesn't matter on the battlefield, but then it totally fucking does. And I hope that they continue to talk about those themes as the game progresses, because
it's pretty early on talking to someone, so I wouldn't really consider it a spoiler. But you talk to someone and they say, and they realize, like, go, oh, okay, so most of the first floor is housing for commoners, most of the second floor is housing for nobles, and they're like, well, we try to not make like the class distinctions matter, but like the nobles
get grumpy.
They like that. And like that also plays into like the character stories, which we'll get into in a little bit. But so each region of the country, they send their best and brightest or whatever to the school, and then theoretically each class is all from like one region. So there are 3 main classes with all people from, fart gas in one class. There's the blue lions, the yellow deer, golden deer. Thank you
very much.
Excuse me.
And the black eagles,
and
which
the black
does
eagles
make a lot of sense because they're like someone explains to you why they're called the black eagles, but all their colors are red.
Yeah. Well, you need something to make the black pop. They're fucking sick. That's what black eagles are. But isn't there
even like they talk about how on the crest of the Adrestian Empire the eagle is black, but when you look at them, like when you see them in the environment and they have the little symbol next to their name to show what house they're from, it's yellow, I think, on that symbol. I don't think it's black and red. I think it's it's red and yellow.
I never noticed it. And I'm playing on the TV where the stuff's like bigger than it is handheld, and I'm just like not noticing.
I could be wrong, but
I'm not looking for it though.
Sure.
Because I'm like, oh, hey, that person's in my house.
I don't care about it. It's just I thought it was funny that they.
Yeah.
So what house is everybody here?
Black Eagles for me, baby.
I'm doing Golden Deer.
I'm a blue lion.
I was super, super indecisive, and I went with Blue Lions.
High five.
Yay.
Okay, 2 blue lions.
Yay, church people.
Very sweet, lovely.
Just kidding.
They're all my children.
I mean, I'm dealing with a capitalist oligarchy of rich nobles, so there's no good answer.
Edelgard is all about evening the playing field between nobles and commoners, and does not believe there should be a class distinction, and does not believe in treating commoners, below her. So I think I made the right choice.
So
anyway,
just to clarify,
we'll see how that goes.
So basically, you're the professor you're basically told, yeah, you're going to be the professor at the school. Pick a house to be the teacher for. So after meeting a bunch of people, you get to choose basically the route you're taking based off of which class house you choose to teach.
I wonder, is it possible to lose that very first encounter and then not be the professor? That'd be really funny if they programmed that in somehow.
I doubt it.
It's like, you dead.
Yeah.
That's So is everyone playing on classic mode?
Yes.
I am. Yeah.
Like I'm still save scumming, but like I only did it because of early on. So classic mode, for those unaware, is where if a character dies, they are dead. You can't get them back. But I made a mistake in like the first non-essential combat encounter I tried to do. It was actually kind of difficult because they set you up in like 2 separate paths. So your characters are separated, and the default way it set me up was it had like all my magic people on one side of the divide and then all my melee people on the other. So my magic people just got wrecked because the infantry just ran up and were like, blip. Now I don't think that would be a problem, but so I had to restart and like set up my people in a new way at the beginning of the battle.
if I got screwed over like that by the map setup, I could see saves coming, but I'm trying pretty hard to avoid doing it.
I haven't done it aside from like that. Because the game very helpfully has implemented something called Divine Pulse, which you hit like the left trigger and it lets you pull back like up. I don't think there's a limit on how far back you can
I think you can go as far back as the beginning of the battle if you want to.
You can do that like currently at the beginning of the game, you can do it up to 2 times per battle, which is nice because if you're like, oh no, my person got killed, they can just pop back, or you can pop back to like where you made the move that got them killed. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, I'm going to go back to my previous turn and say, you're not going to move there because they're going to kill you. That's the battles have not been too difficult so far for me. I don't remember because there's classic mode, but isn't there also another difficulty setting you can select?
Yeah.
Hard. Yeah.
Hard.
It's casual or classic and then normal or hard.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't.
But they're going to be patching a harder difficulty later in the year.
Oh, proud mode.
Difficulty. Great naming.
Oh, jeez.
You'd have to be crazy to play this difficulty.
Yeah. The combat is very Fire Emblem. You're moving people around on a grid, moving them up against other people, and then when they attack, it zooms in. They do like their little combat dance, and if your like speed stat, I think is 4 or more, or is greater than your opponent, you can attack twice, and then like even more depending on what kind of weapon you're using. Like I have one of my characters using the like fist weapons, and she can attack like 4 times and do like 4 damage per hit, and she's just so good. And she just runs up and kills people, and she dodges their counterattacks, and I love her so much. Hello, Sam. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Who did you select as your house in Fire Emblem?
Black Eagles.
Oh, yeah, baby.
I just like Edelgard seemed like the most interesting protagonist.
I love how
foil.
Prior to the game coming out, everyone was like, "Oh, Claude's so great, and none of you selected correctly once the game released.
I never said Claude was great. I've always been Team Edgelord.
Yeah, that's for the wrong reasons.
I didn't want to join the old money, boomer empire.
So you joined the totalitarian dictatorship empire. That's a very good. Where there's not even like where class is still divided based on laborers and the wealthy.
We'll see how things go toward in the later half of the game, when things actually start to diverge based on other impressions and reviews. Because the first half is like they're different, but not that different. But then you get into the second half, and then they're vastly different.
That's kind of good to know, because
which is why you would want to play the game multiple times. Because, but the fact that I don't know how different the stuff is. So,
that game seems enormous. The first time they let you loose in the monastery, I looked at the map and I'm like, we're just in this little part of the monastery. This is still pretty big. So once you get everything unlocked, that place is going to be effing enormous.
Yeah. And there's just so much you can do. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not very far in the game, because whenever they give me a chance to run loose in the monastery, I'm like, I'm talking to everybody.
I talk to everybody. Yeah, I do that too.
Yes.
I think I'm kind of still like, I haven't unlocked everything, but I am kind of still at a point where like, okay, so there's a fishing mini game, and then the game feeds into the fishing mini game is not good. It's fine. The fishing mini game, whatever. There are almost the only good fishing mini game is in Final Fantasy 15.
It's not a JRPG without a fishing.
Yeah, it's fine. That's not a major criticism.
I just makes my heart happy that Fire Emblem has a fishing mini game.
It's better than some fishing mini games. It's definitely like mid-tier fishing mini game. It's just a rhythm thing, which is fine.
I'd much prefer that than the other stuff.
To be honest with you, given the context of the game, sure. I don't think that they did. I don't think they should have made it more complex necessarily. I could have lived with an auto fisher where you just push the button after a certain point and it goes. But like one thing I'm struggling with is like, I wanted to go fishing in like Final Fantasy 15. Not that I finished that game, but I wanted to go fishing in it because it felt like a whole like thing. Like it felt like
it is a whole thing,
right? And
this VR game,
like Fire Emblem, it's like you fish and then you get an ingredient and then you can use it to make more meals, which you can use to like raise your links with people. So like it doesn't feel that consequential to me, and I think that's sort of how I feel with a lot of the monastery stuff. It is where I'm at right now. A lot of it feels like there's so much to do, but I don't know that I feel like it's adding that much right now to the experience. And maybe that'll change. And it's still fun to run around and talk to people, so it's not like it's a terrible thing. But like I don't know that I think it does it as well as something like Persona right now.
So how far in are you?
I'm about 6 hours in.
Okay.
Ish.
Same.
So yeah, so the Persona comparison is very apt. I think we should actually get into what like because this is new stuff for Fire Emblem, kind of like the 3DS games had like some like base building, but nothing like the monastery where you're running around and talking to lots of people. And you like need to run around because there are items scattered throughout the monastery that you need to pick up that are like, oh, this person lost this thing, or this person, or this is a gift for somebody, or it's fishing bait, because like you can't buy fishing bait at the beginning of the game for some reason.
Thus far, I've probably spent twice as much time running around the monastery as I have in battles.
Yeah,
like where I'm at so far.
Me too.
I've actually been fast traveling a lot around.
I barely ever fast travel. Basically, I do like an entire loop around and talk to everybody, and then if I need to like go back somewhere, then I fast travel.
I don't even know how to fast travel outside of doing it from your room. That's the only.
You just go into the map and then you can select an area.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah,
I don't think I know how to open the map.
I mean, obviously,
it's just like just R on the controller is just R to open the map. So yeah, you have one day each week generally to be free and go and talk to your students, talk to teachers, develop your skills. You can call a seminar and everyone will go to class, including you, and like learn about, I don't know, how to use a spear better. Or you can run around, you'll get quests like, oh, hey, go talk to this person and take them this like letter, and then, or collect this stuff, find it on the ground.
So far, the quests have just been like introducing the different training methods for the most part, which I think is part of why those haven't been super compelling to me, because it's like, go find this thing on the ground and now you can do choir practice. And so that I'm sure gets better.
I don't know, like, I feel like some of the stuff is going to lead to things, I hope.
Sure.
But like, I got one that was literally go do a combat scenario. But then I got...
Oh, that's kind of cool.
But then I got two of those and they were the exact same scenario, but they were different quests. So that was like, why?
That's weird.
And so I did them back to back. That was a bummer. But it was like, after the second time I was like, oh, I can run over this. And then during the week, so yeah, on like Sunday, you go around and you talk to people, and you can start at the beginning of the game. You have 2 activity points that you can spend to do like, oh, I'm going to share a meal with like 2 of my students or 2 of my coworkers, and that'll build your bond or increase your students' motivation. So that way, when you get to class on Monday, you can teach them and improve their skills in whatever thing you want them to be good at. So you're like, oh, I need you to be good at bows. So we're gonna study how to do bow stuff. And so you get to work with your students on that during the week. And that's kind of the main non-combat loop. Is teaching your students, and that lets them level up into new classes and stuff later on.
And I think that's my favorite part of the whole meta game is I enjoy looking at like what direction do I want to, like I enjoy the kind of long-term planning of like I think I want them to eventually be a bishop, and so I'm going to focus really, really hard on faith, and I'm kind of missing out on maybe doing one of these more beginner classes, but then eventually they're going to be ready to pass an exam to go do the bishop class. And unlike previous Fire Emblem games, it's more akin to Final Fantasy Tactics in that you can switch their classes around.
Yeah, anyone can be anything.
Yeah, which is really cool. But I think that's definitely like where it shines. Although still like another weird thing, like the way that those group tasks work, and it's like there's only 3 of them. Maybe they change, but
it didn't seem like you can have. I couldn't tell if I've tried to have like multiple going at a time.
You can't have multiple going.
You can only have one at a time.
And it's like
silly.
Riding, heavy armor, and flying. That's it. Those are the only things. And I don't know if there's like if those are like why those are the 3 skills out of dozens.
Because they're the hardest at the beginning. You don't really have an opportunity to build those skills up. I think
that would make sense if that's the case. I haven't really looked that closely at it.
That
just struck me as odd that there were only 3 group tasks, and those were the 3.
Yeah, like every other skill you can build up in combat.
True.
Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
Like by using the weapons or using magic, whereas with flying, riding, and heavy armor, you can't get those skills unless you're in class doing instruction or you're doing those group tasks. So yeah, that's who's everyone's favorite character so far?
Oh my god!
Because there are so many. There are like 30 students, right? Is it 10 in each class or something?
Yeah. That's a tough call. I mean, I like Claude a lot.
Claude is the leader of the Golden Beard.
But that's kind of a cop-out because it's like, of course, the one who's the leader has the most character.
Yeah.
I like Petra a lot.
Okay.
She's very funny.
So you were able to recruit Petra to your house?
No, not yet. She won't join yet. But I have interacted with her enough to know she's pretty funny. And I like in-house, I like Hilda quite a bit.
Okay.
Because she's like the thing that one of the things I like a lot about this game is because I think about it from the perspective of being their teacher. So there's things like she complains because she doesn't want to like break a sweat or whatever. And so my response is like, you're on the front lines. Like get out there, grab your axe.
Who's the like super anxious neurotic one?
Bernadette.
There's several.
Yeah, but I think you're thinking of Bernie.
I am.
Oh my god.
Specifically, just does not leave her room.
She won't leave her room. Yeah.
I love her so much.
Hey, there's cake out here, and she's like, "Fuck you."
Yes.
She's
I like
good.
Marianne a lot. She's like the healer, sort of is where she leans. She studies faith, and she always apologizes for everything, and she always like doesn't want to participate because she thinks she's going to be useless. So she's also one that I take and put her in the not in the front because she's a healer, but
how about the super sleepy one?
That's funny too.
You're mentioning all the people I love. So actually Pat and Alex both mentioned 3 people in my house who are all great outside of Edelgard, who I think is really great too. But Linhart, who is a sleepy boy, he's always just like, I want to go nap. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I like napping. But then, like, at the beginning, I was like, I don't know if I actually like this guy. But then he one-shot crit a boss, like, with, like, a wind spell. I was like, oh, okay, no, you're chill. And then Petra is also fantastic. I mentioned her earlier when I was saying I have the character who just, like, uses the fist weapons and just ruins everyone. And then Bernie is my archer, and she just follows me around, like right behind the professor, and is just like, I'm shooting everybody. It's great. I love all of them. They're my children.
In my house, I think Ingrid is interesting. She's kind of the I don't know if you've seen anime. She's kind of the Saber equivalent, or like an Alice, but she's pretty rad. There's Dudu, who comes from Fardass or whatever.
I'm a big fan of Dudu. Although if you're
he's a Dusker.
Yeah.
Dusker.
It was weird because I went over and talked to him just to talk to everybody, and he was like, you shouldn't let people see you talking to me because I'm a Dusker, and people will talk if they see you.
Oh.
If they see you conversing. And I was like, that's weird.
I've had some of his support with another character, and I don't want to like get too deep into it, but it deals with it, and it's very heartwarming. And I'm like,
no, that's good. Yeah, it seems like maybe that's a subject that they actually handle relatively well. But I think my biggest frustration so far in general is I feel like all of these characters are really interesting and well done, but like you have choices at various times in dialogue with them. And it's not about picking the thing. It's not like you pick a dialogue option and then it changes your perceptions of each other and like grows your relationship in a certain direction. It is, you either pick the one that they like or you pick the one that they don't like. Then there is no gameplay benefit to picking the one that they don't like. No. So there's no incentive to kind of develop your character's personality. It's just a guessing game, and a pretty easy one as to which one this character will like. And I kind of really don't like that. It's sort of making, every time a dialogue choice comes up, it sort of breaks my narrative immersion, I guess, because I'm like, well, I'm talking to Hilda, so I should pick the answer that's like,
actually, I did make one choice that made someone's opinion of me go down.
Yeah, no, you can. The first choice, I missed it in the beginning because I don't know how, but I was trying to keep track of everything. I missed that Jeralt was your father. And so when the person asks if he's your father, I was like, that's a weird question. And so I selected the I've never heard of him answer, and my relationship with him went down, and I have not had an opportunity to bring it back up again.
I missed that too, and I thought it would be funny if it wasn't true, because I thought I'd be like, hey, I'm not that old.
Yeah,
no, that's what I thought too. I was like, I totally missed that, and I'm like, but I do know him, and I feel like saying I'm a bandit doesn't feel right, so I'll say he's my dad, and then it's like, oh, he is my dad. Okay.
So unless someone else on this podcast can say otherwise, I just think they don't clarify that ahead of time.
They don't.
No, they don't.
I'm
glad it's not just me.
I'm sure that I just thought he was my dad.
But, you just think every character's your dad when you start?
They don't.
Because in the marketing they say you work for your dad, and they show you a picture of him. So maybe I knew.
Well, they don't look similar at all, though.
No. I appreciate it.
They mentioned that too. They're like, you don't look alike, but okay.
It's the only time I'll be able to say
that's on purpose.
Yeah.
Jeralt is my dad, and it's technically a different spelling, and it's a soft syllable and not a hard one. But I've wanted to say Jeralt is my dad for a long time. So
Jeralt is daddy. I'm baby.
Papa G.
Yeah, I guess that's the, like, I had Hilda, the one, like, because I want to be the way I want it to work, and I understand that I understand it's a lot harder than just like make this the way it works, but to me, a character like Hilda, who is kind of a brat and like a very stereotypical, like, I'm rich, I shouldn't have to do any of this, I just don't want to be a soldier, I want to just be skip to the part where I'm in charge. But what I want is for over the course of the game to, like, as her teacher, kind of show her the importance of like participating and the importance of like, to be a good leader, you have to be able to participate in the activity as well. And it's frustrating to me that the way that I increase her motivation is when she goes, I have to clean my room, or I have to get my room clean. How should I do it? And what I want to say is do it yourself. But instead, I know that the answer that's going to give me the best game benefit is to go find someone gullible and make them do it, because that's what she wants to hear. And I find that kind of frustrating. I kind of wish that it was like, maybe if you give that answer, your link with her goes down, but her experience goes up or something. Like some kind of way where all the dialogue options are giving you a different trade-off rather than it just being pick the one that they like the most. Because it seems like a minor thing to bring up, but like, because it is such a good game narratively so far, that one thing has been it's irked me like almost every time a dialogue choice comes up.
Well, there's something that happens pretty early. Oh, okay. So it was after I chose my house. I don't know if the same thing happened with the other selections, but Ferdinand is like, hey, we like to keep everything like, we like to treat everyone as equals. So like, if we're going to treat you like one of us, not as like a teacher, is that okay? And you only get the choice of, yeah, no, that's fine with me. I don't care. But they still make you select it. So I'm like, why are you giving me why are you giving me the choice, quote unquote, if
I guess
there's only one?
It feels to me a lot like they said, Persona is very good and we want to incorporate some of those elements into our game, but that some of that stuff is just a little bit underbaked, just a little bit, not like bad.
I think they do a fine job of it mostly. Like I think what you're saying about like the only having like the one correct option, I think that rings true. But like this one, there's not even two options. It's just you have to select like the button.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of what I'm saying is I think in a lot of the like stuff you do around the monastery, like I kind of said earlier, it just doesn't feel that impactful right now. And maybe that'll change later, but like when I go to do the choir practice and my faith goes up like an eighth of a level and it's at level D right now, or E or whatever, E+.
Yeah.
That's only going to become less impactful as the game moves forward. Yeah. So,
but it builds bond between whoever's there with you and stuff.
Yeah, I guess if it's just a different skinned animation for building bonds with different people, though, that's kind of like.
Well, different people are going to benefit from different things. So, like certain people will get more benefit from doing certain activities. So you're like, okay, I can get these two people here. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's, different skins on that stuff.
It just feels like a very pretty menu, I guess, which in some ways is like a little bit disappointing for me. Like it feels like I could have just selected choir practice from a menu and then it could have just said, oh, these two people's link went up and their faith went up. And and so I kind of was hoping it would feel a little more, I don't know, like it would feel more meaningful to move through the space and like be present for things. But I don't know what the answer for how you would achieve that.
Yeah, there's one thing they crib for Persona that I think is kind of half-baked as well, and that's specifically the online one. You can see what other players have been doing. Yeah. And I think like in principle it's pretty cool. Like it's kind of that Persona 4 Golden, Persona 5 thing of this percentage of people did this stuff today, this percentage of people did this other stuff today, and like cool, good idea, but it seems like it doesn't actually take into account which house you're with, so it just kind of shows you stuff from every house no matter what people have been doing. So like I'm seeing a lot of stuff that's like people have picked Edelgard and I'm like, I don't have that as an option.
Yeah.
So that's I wish they would have at least kind of filtered it based on what's available to you. Like that would be nice.
Yeah.
But in concept it's still good.
And at the end of the day too, like the class changing stuff is awesome. The battles stuff is fantastic. It's been very easy so far, but I assume that picks up.
I heard it's easy all the way through from multiple reviews.
That's unfortunate. If it's this easy for most of the game, I'll come out of it pretty disappointed because the difficulty's been almost non-existent so far.
But I am on the verge of just running through levels with Edelgard and killing everyone with just her.
Yeah, that almost makes me feel like I should restart it on hard because I don't want to do that for 60 hours, to be honest.
Have any of you lost anyone yet? Like even in a training round?
Nope. I've not even come close.
With yes in my recent mission, but I used Divine Pulse, and then we were just like, okay, fix that. But it was like a big story thing, and like against a big boss. And then it did some shit. I was like, oh, that wasn't good.
Big boss?
And like, no, yes, it was big bosses in this game. The boss actually.
Jet punch.
And the end.
But yeah, so like if you're not careful and if you're just kind of like, I got cocky. I was like, oh well, this guy ain't shit. And then it's like, oh wait,
turns out he was shit.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
The first few training battles, I lost like 1 or 2 people per battle, but like it was because I was literally like throwing people out in front who were like magic users with no defense.
Yeah, I did lose one person in like the training battle, but that one didn't count, so they came back. But
the first ever fight in the game, Edelgard died, and I was like, I'm glad I play on casual.
That happens in the story though. What are you talking about?
I think what I'll probably do is, because I do like I have a hard time articulating my thoughts on it, because there's stuff that I think, like, I'm more critical of this game, I think, than I would be for a lot of other things, just because of the hype associated with it. So I don't think that anything at all about it is bad or even mediocre necessarily. Like, everything is like capital G good at a baseline, and then there's some stuff that seems really great. So I may just continue to play it on normal and then try another house on hard if the stories really do diverge a lot.
That's what I was kind of thinking. Yeah,
that's my plan.
Like, this is like I knew that I was doing multiple houses because I was like, oh, this is kind of my first house where I learn everything, and then the next house, I will be better at planning.
Yeah, because I assume
there's only one thing that goes across for New Game Plus, and it's the renown points.
That would be very helpful.
Yeah,
everything else you have to.
I don't know if you know what those do yet, but oh my god, that would be so helpful for.
I guess I don't know what they do. I don't really want to either.
I won't tell you. It's nothing. It's nothing major, but you spend those points for something.
And I know what they do according to the review that told me that was what you take across, and he was like, "Yeah, it let me change one particular thing, which made the beginning of the game extremely easy."
I think it would let you min-max way more, especially for recruiting characters, which we haven't touched on yet, is one of the things you can do. So when you select your house, you kind of lock in with like the 10 or whoever students are in that house. And so like, I don't have... So then you've got 20 students, and then there are teachers and stuff who you can also recruit later, I think, based on like support and stuff. And I think if you have support, I think that means you can get them on your team. I'm not 100% sure on that, but so you can then talk to people around the school, and you can try and recruit them to come to your house and like poach them from the other schools or the other houses. And I just talked to like Sylvain, who is like the redheaded guy from Blue Lions, I think.
Yep.
And I was like, hey, come to my house. And he's like, okay, sure. And I did it like my first day.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No loyalty. Watch out for him, Allison.
I will keep an eye on him.
I will say you want Sylvain on your team. One, he's incredibly powerful. Two, story stuff.
So question, how many can you field all of your house and Sylvain?
Yes.
Oh, so it is worth recruiting other people.
I just recruited a second character, like an additional character to my house, but I haven't done a battle with them, so I don't know if I can have like 12 people on the field or 13 or however many it is.
Yeah, because I haven't seen the point in recruiting people, because I assumed that it was the max, because there are a couple of battles we can use like 5. And I was like,
you gotta get those character stories.
Yeah,
that's the point of the game, baby.
Yeah, but I'll get the character stories on my second play, my third playthrough. I was like, it'd be nice for everything to be fresh playthrough.
I think like characters from different characters from different houses can have stories together too. So like Edelgard and Sylvain can like talk to each other and interact, and then build relationships. Because on the battlefield, when you build you can go from like C to S+, and S+ is like romance territory, but you can go from C to like S or C to A depending on the characters, and when their support rank goes up, then they benefit each other on the battlefield, and so like they'll have like a higher hit percentage or do more damage or whatever if they're near each other. So building up your relationships between your characters is really good, and then you get like little vignettes between those two characters interacting. Like I had Lindhart and Petra. Lindhart comes up to Petra, he's like, hey, your spear technique is like garbage. And she's like, what do you mean it's garbage? And he's like, yeah, no, you like lift up your hands and then like your motion's bad. And she's like, show me. He's like, nah, I'm gonna go take a nap. I told you, you can figure it out. And so their whole story is just them, like him teaching her how to use a spear. And so you get stuff like that. So I think you can get that between like every combination of characters in the game, as long as they're on your team.
Okay.
God.
But I don't know how, like, there must be a limit on how many people you can take into battle.
Yeah.
Because if not, like, oh my God, it'd be so easy.
Andre, have you seen the Petra and Caspar support conversation yet? It's super memorable because it's really good.
Maybe. Okay, you made it sound like it was funny.
No, it's not funny.
Okay, yeah, no, I did see it. I want to see.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, just put those two next to each other constantly, just to get that conversation, because it's really cool. I really want to see where that relationship goes.
I have determined I hate Ferdinand. Oh my God, he's so okay. Yeah, no. So there's a good question.
I don't like Ferdinand.
Anyone you don't like? Like, I hate Ferdinand. He's an asshole.
I don't like Ferdinand.
He's constantly like, I'm so much better than Edelgard. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, he sucks.
Him. Yeah.
Oh, him, yeah.
And he's so much better than Edelgard because he wants to maintain the status quo in the country. Like, that's like the thing too, is he's not just like.
See, I haven't even gotten any of that. All I've seen is him talking about like, God, I'm so much better than you.
Maybe you don't have this conversation if he's in your house, but like on like the second exploration session, I found him on a bridge and I talked to him and he was like, do you know what do you know about the
yeah, I think I skimmed through that. Like, I don't care.
And he talks about how like he's better than her because he has better lineage, basically. And I was like, fuck off, dude.
Yeah, no,
like,
he's the worst.
I want to recruit you and then let you die.
He's also a dunce, but also he's really good with the spear. So like,
yeah, at first I didn't like Lorenz.
Very fast.
He's like he's the kind of like snarky I'm better than Claude guy in Golden Deer, but I don't know, after like we did the practice battle and we crushed it, he was like, wow, you're an awesome teacher and I have so much to learn from you, and kind of humbled up a little bit. And so I like, because at first he was the one who was like, you shouldn't be teaching us, you're the same age as us. And then he got more humble after we won the mock battle. So he's not as bad as I thought he was.
I'd say similar about Felix. He's the one who's like, I want to fight you all the time.
Wait, to the teacher?
Yeah.
I like Felix because I kind
of like him, and he's fun in battle. Like one point you say like, oh yeah, let's fight. He's like, yeah, all right. Like,
I'm gonna try and recruit Felix because I like his whole look. I think he looks like the kind of character in an anime that I would like.
Yeah,
I will say I like so far the minimal interaction I've had with some of the Knights of Saros people, the non-house affiliated people. I forget her name.
I love Catherine.
There's the like looks kind of like an anime series woman too, mostly in her outfit design, not so much her face. She has like purple hair.
Anime series. That's pretty good.
I can't remember what her name is now.
What's the name of the
guy? Something Shamir. Yeah,
I that is who I just recruited to my team.
Yeah, I think she's really cool.
Yeah, she looks
what's the name of the crest boy that's like obsessed with crests?
Hanneman.
Hanneman. He's got a good tash.
Yeah. Manuela, who is just like horny right out the gate.
Yeah,
is like,
like
she owns it though. That's
but you can't get S plus with her, like, or at least as a lady, like ladies max. But she's like constantly flirting with you.
They actually have. I didn't realize how limited, a lot of the like same-sex relationship stuff is in the game. I was under the impression that it was like pretty like you could have there were like 4 or 5 same-sex relationships to the like 10.
It's for women there are like 4, and I think
for women I think there are only 3.
Yeah, with men there's only like 2.
There are more for like
there's only really 1, but there are technically 2 on the arc.
Like there's platonic stuff.
One of them is platonic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only Linthart that will go all the way with you.
Yeah, which I was kind of like, that sort of sucks. I thought it was a little better about that stuff than that. But but Manuela is very funny, and like there's a conversation you have with her like very early on where she's like talking about how like she went out on a date with a knight, and then she like took him back to her room, and then he wouldn't like go in and sleep with her because it was too messy, and it like pisses her off.
she's like, some knight he is. Like,
yeah, it was really
like,
funny.
That's great.
Yes, I was like, you know what? You're a badass.
I think I found someone who mentioned like was the knight from that story, and like heard him saying something about it, but I don't remember for sure. But yeah, this game is very good.
Yeah, it's very, I feel like it does a really great job with the characters for the most part, which makes playing the actual battles like exciting too. Because I don't know about you guys, but the first time I got into a battle after I had joined this house, I was just like, it felt like I was cheering on everybody. I was just like, good job, you increased a level. I am so proud of you. Like feeling like this genuine sense of pride over the people that you're working with. Like I feel like there's a level of like bond with the characters that I don't know if you always had in other Fire Emblem games.
I was going to ask, because you've been playing Fire Emblem for a real long time, Allison. Like, are there things that you have seen like that they've kind of cribbed from old games that are like that you think are better here, or there's stuff that you miss from previous ones? You know, like that kind of stuff.
Not that I can think of. It's been a while since I've played some of the older ones, to be honest.
Fair enough.
I think for the most part, the biggest thing that they've done is make it a lot more character focused and a lot more accessible, mostly in terms of difficulty, because back in the old day, we didn't have casual mode or anything like that. It was just classic all day.
That's why you play it. You purchase a cartridge so that you put the cartridge, you set the cartridge next to your keyboard, and then you play it on an emulator with save states.
You know, I might have to
first Fire Emblem in the
might have to consider that, because I do have the original carts from the Game Boy Advance games from when I played them, and I love them. So yeah,
you just dump them to your computer and play those ROMs.
Don't you have a GBA?
Yeah, I do, but
you can't save state with it.
You can't save state.
So much easier to save scum. You can try out all kinds of different tactical stuff and just like reload the save state. And
but that's true.
You need it. One of the most awesome accessibility features, which maybe this was in Fates, but it's not in the old ones, is you can see who's going to attack who when you move, like what enemies.
That's nice.
Space. That's a really cool feature. That is very, very helpful and really should be surfaced as a thing, because if you know the systems well enough, you already know that. And so it just is a time saver. It's not really like a cheat. It just saves you time on, because there's a hierarchy of who they'll go after based on their like hit point level or something, or like their ability to hit them.
I have no idea what it actually is, because it seems like it changes around. It seems like it changes based on like where I position them too.
Yeah, so, it has to do with all that stuff, but it's an algorithm. It's not I don't believe it's a dice roll. I don't believe it's ever been a dice roll. So if you do all the math, you can figure it out yourself. So it's smart that they made that just a surfaced thing.
Yeah, I think for the most part, this series has definitely moved towards things like the like support conversations and things like that, which didn't really exist before. But at the same time, I think it's mostly just kind of enhancing what was already there, because the game was always had fun characters that you like, and a really good sense of personality, so that you want to see these characters succeed. It had permadeath, and so now it's just like, we're going to make you love these characters. So if they die, you're going to feel so bad. It's just kind of like enhancing the things that people really grew to like about Fire Emblem, which is nice.
Yeah, totally. I mean, like
they've taken the weapon triangle out.
I'm not as attached to that as some, but like I know what you mean, Allison, about I know what you mean about like XCOM, like original XCOM and like Terror from the Deep, and also the recent reboots. Like even though those characters did not have stories, the people that you were recruiting, you end up getting attached to them because like you've been with this one sniper for literally the entire game, and then they drop in the last battle, and you're like, fuck, that sucks.
Yeah.
But this makes it like significantly worse because you actually care about the stories, and they have developed characters, and they have developed relationships within like the houses or whatever the case might be. So like so much more impactful.
Yeah, like, and like that example you're giving with XCOM, like, you know, those characters don't have the individual stories, but it's your story. And with this one, you've got, you know, got your story and the character story. So like Lindhart going out there and one-shotting that boss, and like the first boss, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, this is my boy now.
Yeah, totally.
And so that, you know, now like I have to protect that boy with my life, but also let him go and fuck people up.
But yeah, sorry for interrupting. What were you about to say, Allison?
Oh, I just don't think I personally don't miss the weapons triangle very much, mostly because I feel like they've added enough things with the combat arts and the gambits and everything. Like I I feel like there's enough strategy still. It's not like they're like taking it out so that it's can make the strategy. And then even then, I think that there's still different distinct advantages to the swords, to the axe, to the lance, so that it's still like, it's just maybe not quite as explicit of like, you had better use a sword against an axe, otherwise it's not going to go well.
And you know, there's still stuff like, oh, flying enemies, you need to use magic or
bows.
Bows and stuff like that. You know, take them out. So there's still like tactical decisions you need to make, but early on it's far less.
Yeah, and I feel like the combat arts system has been really good in terms of like just the kind of deciding, well, do I need to use it now, or should I save the durability for my weapons for later? Because I got really into using one of the combat arts for Ash, who's my bow user in Blue Lions, and and the first combat art he has is you can basically use the bow from outside of standard, like for most like magic or bow, you can be like one space away, whereas here it's like you can do it from a little bit further, and it's very handy, especially if you're trying to knock some points off of somebody who's like a magic user, to just go do this from farther away, so they can hit you back, and then you go in for the final kill. So I found myself doing that a lot, and I'm like, oh shit, I am using up the durability on this bow really quickly. So there's an element of like, even like the kind of longer term planning as well in the individual battles. Like, is this the one where I'm going to break out all the combat arts and lower all of our weapon durabilities by a lot?
Yeah. Does anyone else have anything in particular they want to talk about with Fire Emblem?
I had another thought, and I can't remember what it was now. The camera settings are really weird in battle. Like, you can zoom all the way down into like a view where you're like you're directly controlling the character running around the square, and that's odd. It's cool looking because it gives you like a 2-scale view of what's going on, but it's a weird thing.
Yeah, I don't, because there's just so much more ahead, and you can clearly see that just like it's a massive game.
Yeah, I'm starting to get to the point where like whatever the story is starting to present itself, or like more of it is presenting itself. I'm going to say it again, just try to get Sylvain on your team if you don't have him already.
He's cool. I love him.
Yeah, he's the ladies' man. He's the one who hits on every woman. You know what? Yeah, no, that further reinforces my thought that because I just watched a scene between Dorothea and Sylvain, and so if you recruit people, you can still get character stories with them. So yeah, do that.
I actually do hate that guy now that I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
I feel like though there's like the thing that's interesting about all these characters is that a lot of them seem like they're immediately archetypes, but there's a lot of depth between them. So I'm excited to see where his character goes.
Yeah, I just didn't like that to do I felt really weird about like to do the learn about eating with people. You get a quest from him that's like, go eat with some girls and tell me what they like. And I was like, that's fucking weird. And I don't want to do this, but I guess I'm going to do it. And then when you finish it, he's like, nice, moving on the students. Good job.
Oh, I didn't get that, but
you get to bang your students. And I was just like,
maybe I didn't get that because
I'm extrapolating a little bit, but he says like, he's like, whoa, way to go, Teach, you move quick or something like that. And I was just like,
I had lunch with Manuela.
Nice.
I think I actually did on that one. I don't know. But yeah, okay. I know some of y'all got places to be, things to do. So I think we'll wrap it up here unless you have anything you want to comment on.
My last point that I meant to bring up earlier, didn't want to interrupt anybody. One thing that kind of dampens my like I want to see these kids succeed thing that we talked about a while ago is it does feel a little weird that seeing them succeed means like killing people, and especially killing like bandits in a world where it sounds like the reason the bandits exist is not just because they're evil bad guys, but because like the nobility has driven them to having to steal to survive kind of thing. So like putting down a bandit rebellion or putting down like a bandit raid kind of feels a little weird. And to have children do it also feels a little weird. And I think it's funny that like the only thing early on that they do to sort of call that out is what's her name? The woman that's Sethos or whatever, who's head. She's like, wow, so we're sending kids into battle. We're monsters. Haha. And then
Final Fantasy VIII, baby.
Yeah. I just, that's the only thing that's made me kind of feel like Ignat's one of the characters I like a lot, who's an archer. He's like, he'll shoot someone and then he'll be like, man, I hate that I had to do that. That sucks.
But they do that like one time and then they don't ever comment on it.
And I was like, oh man. But it's part of the story. So
I can't say for sure with the other houses, but I'm going to say I think you want Sylvain on your team by like August, or the 8th month, probably the 7th month, maybe the 8th month. I don't remember which one.
I think I'm in the 7th month now.
Okay, then
I've just done the fog battle.
No,
it's the mission after the fog battle. So yeah, it's the one after that, I believe. So you want to get Sylvain.
I don't want Sylvain on my team, but we'll see.
Story reasons, baby. But I mean, if you don't want,
I will say the story is not very good if you need that one character for it to be.
Well, no, but it goes more into it. There is an added benefit to having him on your team for that particular mission. Then you can take him off if you don't want him. But
God, why do you hate Fire Emblem, Pat? You're always so positive about things. It's so disheartening when you're negative.
I wouldn't say I'm negative at all. I would say that so far I don't know that this game is living up to the hype for me. It's just a very good strategy game.
That's all I wanted personally. So I'm
not going to be disappointed with it if that's all it ends up being. I don't think it's the best game that I've played in the past month necessarily so far. But we'll see how it goes.
I do think I prefer still. If we were talking about like how I felt about games in the first 6 hours, then I do think Judgment made a better impression.
Sure. It's the first 6 hours, so it's hard to say. There's a lot of game left to play.
Yeah, especially when this is like 60 plus hours.
Passing Judgment.
Judgment is a 35-hour game minimum.
I mean, that's
you need to give it like at least 12 hours to make its impression on you.
I'm excited to see where this game goes, and like it's really nice to not have to use the 3DS.
I will say of the 4 other games that I've more like quote unquote finished in the past month, all of them made a better impression on me by the 6th hour than this one has. But again, this is still very good. I happen to have played a lot of very good games this month, so I don't want to seem like I'm negative.
I can't believe you're saying that about one of those games. Well, you know what? The first 6 hours I'll accept, but like your opinion.
We just have a very split opinion on that game that we'll have to come back to later on.
Yeah, apparently.
I have a review for Picross, Lord of the Nazarick, ongoing.
To quell any ambiguity, the 4 games that I finished this month are Sinking City, Kingdom Hearts 3, Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes and Mario Maker.
Metal Gear Ground Zeroes is a 20-minute game. It doesn't even count.
That's not true. It's like an hour and a half, something like that. Doesn't change the fact that I enjoyed that hour and a half more than I've enjoyed my time with Fire Emblem so far.
It's a great game.
Enjoy your time with Metal Gear Solid 5. Man, I keep thinking about playing that game again, but it's so impractical. Anyway, that is going to do it for episode 80 of Gaming Fix. Thanks for joining us. If you did on this July 27th, just hit the 28th over here in Japan. You can find me online on Twitter at Coolsl, COOLSL4W. You can find my review of Kill La Kill If over there. And Allison, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at WRITERSERENYTY.
Pat.
You can find me at PJC Plays, and you can find Sebastian Vettel starting in P20 tomorrow due to his unfortunate car issues.
Dang. And Sam.
You can find me at SGCH on Twitter. You can also see my Slay the Spire review. That's like one of the best games I've played this year, hands down.
Mm-hmm. It's a good game.
Mm-hmm. I'm still mad at it.
I thought that it was a 2017 game that was released on console in 2019. So I'm super chuffed that is GOTY eligible. And that'll come up later this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if that didn't come up later this year with how much fun I had with the robot character and the insane combos that you can pull off.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex, where can people find you?
You can find me spelunking on Northern Vancouver Island or playing Dota Underlords.
Yep.
Okay. I should try Underlords. I'm going to give it a shot.
Go spelunking and play. What if you play Dota Underlords in Spelunky?
Are you going to take a two tiny rush into the caves?
That sounds terrible.
He's literally a rock man.
It's true.
Make sure you're working on your bat tech before you go in.
For what it's worth, sorry, it'll be real quick. I've been playing a lot of Dota Underlords, played probably overall, let's say 20 games and won like 7 or 8 of them. So it's a very winnable game if you understand the strategies. It's pretty cool. It's well made.
Okay.
Alex is very good at it. People should still play the game, but Alex is very good at it. Let's be clear.
I also have like 5,000 hours of Dota played. So
yeah, I've played probably 40 to 50 games and won maybe 4 of them. So
wow. Well, you can find the Gaming Fix podcast wherever fine podcasts are sold. Throw us a review on like, I don't know, Stitcher. Where else can podcast something?
Spotify Premium.
Can you review on Spotify? I don't know. But
open your front door and just scream your review to your neighbors.
Yeah, baby. That's the plan. Wherever you may be, just open your car door on the highway. Don't open your car door.
My neighbor did that for a review of his Fortnite teammates yesterday morning at 5 a.m. when I took the dog out. Screamed out his window. Not pleased.
Damn. How many stars did they get?
I don't know, but he did proceed to tell them that he has so much more money than them, which is, I almost guarantee you, untrue.
That sounds like peak Seattle.
Yeah.
Your neighbor is Jeff Bezos. All right. That is going to do it for us. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week with more games besides Fire Emblem.
Let's be honest, with more Fire Emblem.
With more, yay.
More Fire Emblem, probably.
I will have tried to play at least 5 hours of Lord of the Nazarick Picross. I need to
get back to Final Fantasy 14 and also Total War 3 Kingdoms. Oh my God. That's a game.
Yeah.
Woo. All right. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Later.